The rain hammered down in thick, relentless sheets, drumming a wild beat on the roof of Morgan Freeman's sleek black Escalade as he rolled into the circular driveway of the Imperial Sunset Hotel in Long Beach, California. It was March 3rd, 2025, and the night was as dark as ink, save for the golden glow spilling from the hotel's chandeliers, bouncing off the wet pavement like a promise of warmth and luxury. For most, this place was a haven, a slice of comfort for road-weary travelers looking to escape the grind. But tonight, Morgan Freeman, yes, the Morgan Freeman, was about to find out that sanctuary came with a catch. He stepped out of the SUV, all 6'2" of him cutting an unmistakable figure against the stormy backdrop. The collar of his tailored gray coat flicked up against the wind, his presence as steady as ever. At 87, Morgan carried a gravitas that could hush a room without a word. Those years of commanding screens, big and small, had etched authority into every line of his face. His polished loafers tapped softly on the marble floor as he crossed the threshold into the lobby. The air hit him with a mix of fresh-cut roses and the faint, rich hum of espresso wafting from the lounge nearby. He approached the reception desk, flashing that warm, knowing smile that could melt ice. "Good evening," he said, his voice deep and smooth like aged bourbon. "I'd like a room for the night. My flight's delayed, and I need a spot to crash before the next one." The clerk, a young guy, maybe mid-20s, with slicked-back blonde hair and a name tag reading Evan, barely looked up. His fingers danced lazily over the keyboard, a smug little smirk tugging at his lips. "Sorry, sir," he drawled, not sounding sorry at all. "We're fully booked." Morgan tilted his head, that smile holding steady. He glanced around. The lobby was quiet, too quiet for fully booked. A single elevator chimed in the distance, spitting out one lone guest. He leaned forward just a touch. "Fully booked, you say? Not even one room?" Evan finally met his eyes, his smirk tightening. "That's right. Nothing available." Before Morgan could press further, the revolving doors spun open with a whoosh. A middle-aged couple shuffled in, dragging suitcases behind them, their rain-soaked jackets dripping on the pristine floor. Evan's whole demeanor flipped like a light switch. His smile widened, his voice turned to honey. "Welcome to the Imperial Sunset. Do you have a reservation?" The man shook his head. "Nope, not a problem," Evan chirped, fingers flying over the keys. "Let me check availability." 30 seconds later, he slid a room key across the counter. "Enjoy your stay." Morgan watched it all unfold, his calm mask slipping just a hair. The couple shuffled off and he cleared his throat, pulling Evan's attention back. "Thought you said you were fully booked." Evan's eyes flickered, his smile twitching. "I meant we don't have anything that suit your needs." The words landed like a punch, but Morgan didn't flinch. He felt the weight of it, the ugly truth behind the excuse. It wasn't about rooms. It wasn't about timing. It was about him. Something sour and old as dirt simmered beneath Evan's polished act. Morgan straightened up, his expression unreadable. "Thank you for your time," he said, voice steady as a rock. Then he turned and walked back into the storm. The rain lashed against his coat as he stood under the awning, letting the downpour's rhythm drown out the sting. Most folks would have been mad. Hell, most would have stormed back in, demanding answers. But Morgan Freeman? He'd seen too much, lived too long, to let anger steer the ship. He pulled out his phone, scrolling through hotel options, but his eyes stayed locked on those revolving doors. Something gnawed at him, a hunch he couldn't shake. He didn't have to wait long. A kid in his 20s, cargo pants, hoodie, backpack slung low, strolled in, looking every bit the budget traveler. Morgan watched from the shadows as the guy hit the desk with the same ask. A room for the night. Evan's exaggerated nods and toothy grin were back in full force. Within a minute, the kid had a key card in hand, no questions asked. Morgan's lips pressed into a hard line. Intentional, deliberate, a pattern. His first instinct was to march back in, let that deep voice of his boom through the lobby and call out the hypocrisy. But decades in Hollywood, navigating egos, dodging traps, had taught him better. Restraint was power. Tonight wasn't about words. It was about action. He slid back into the Escalade, the leather seats cool against his back, and peeled out. The hotel's golden lights faded in the rear view as an idea sparked, sharp, focused, unstoppable. The windshield wipers slapped a steady beat as Morgan cruised Long Beach's slick streets. That rejection wasn't a wound. It was fuel. He wasn't mad. Anger burned out fast. This was determination honed to a razor's edge. He'd built a career outsmarting folks who underestimated him. Directors, producers, critics. Tonight, he'd do it again. He pulled into a diner lot, a no-frills joint called Moe's 24/7 Eats, its red neon sign buzzing against the gray dawn. Inside, the smell of coffee and sizzling bacon hit him like a warm hug. He slid into a booth by the window, rain streaking the glass, and a waitress dropped a steaming mug in front of him without a word. He nodded thanks and flipped open his laptop. Morgan had been sniffing around the Imperial Sunset for months. Word was, the hotel chain was bleeding cash, and this location was on the chopping block. His team had flagged it during an investment powwow, small potatoes compared to his usual ventures. But after tonight, it was personal. He dialed his attorney, Lisa Reynolds, a shark in a suit who could close a deal faster than most folks could blink. "Lisa," he said, voice low and firm, "I need the paperwork on the Imperial Sunset Hotel locked down by sunrise." Sunrise. Lisa's voice crackled through the line. "Morgan, that's insane, even for you." "Consider it done," he replied, leaving no room for argument. "Send it to my phone. I'll sign electronically." He hung up, staring out at the rain-soaked street. His team burned the midnight oil, hammering out details. By the time dawn broke, soft pinks and oranges bleeding into the sky, the deal was sealed. The Imperial Sunset Hotel was his. Morning sun glinted off the hotel's glass facade as Morgan stepped out of his Escalade, radiating quiet confidence. He'd traded the coat for a sharp blazer, custom-tailored, and adjusted his sunglasses with a flick. At 87, he moved with purpose, every step a statement. The staff buzzed about, oblivious, Evan included, back at his post with that slick smirk plastered on. Morgan took his time, scoping the place with fresh eyes. The lobby gleamed, marble floors, chandeliers, the works. But it hid rot beneath the shine. Staff shot him quick glances, curiosity flickering. When he hit the desk, Evan's smile slid into place like clockwork. "Good morning, sir. How can I help you today?" Morgan didn't answer right away. He set a black folder on the counter, crisp, official, ominous. He opened it slow, revealing a stack of legal docs, stamped and signed. Evan's grin wobbled. "I'm here to make an introduction," Morgan began, voice steady as granite. "My name's Morgan Freeman, and as of this morning, I'm the new owner of the Imperial Sunset Hotel." The lobby went dead silent. Staff froze mid-step, heads swiveling. Evan's face drained to a sickly white. I don't understand," he stammered. "I'll keep it simple," Morgan said, locking eyes. "This hotel's mine now. And last night, I got a front-row seat to how some of you treat guests. Let's just say I wasn't impressed." Evan's mouth flapped, but Morgan raised a hand. "No need to explain. Actions speak louder than words. And yours?" they screamed. He turned to the staff, now clustered like kids caught sneaking cookies. Among them was Maria, a housekeeper with tired eyes and a decade of grit, and Tom, the night porter who'd overheard Evan's snide jabs too many times. They watched, wary but hopeful. "I believe in businesses that stand for fairness, respect, inclusivity," Morgan said, pacing slow. "This place, it fell short, but that changes today." Tension hung thick, but he didn't let it fester. "You've all got a shot to grow with this new chapter, except those who can't treat every guest with dignity. Prejudice, it's got no home here." He zeroed in on Evan. "Your actions last night, they don't fit. You're done. Effective immediately. You're done. Effective immediate." Evan's jaw hit the floor, but Morgan's words were final. The room shifted. A ripple of understanding spreading. "This isn't just about last night," he boomed. "It's about the culture here, the message it sends. What happened to me? It's bigger than that. It's a mindset, and it stops now." The staff hung on his every word, some nodding, others wide-eyed. "From this moment, this hotel's about respect, inclusion," Morgan said. "New policies, training. starting today. He nodded at Maria. "What's your name?" "Maria," she replied, voice shaky but steady. "Well, Maria," he said, flashing that warm smile, "you and the team, you're getting real training. Every guest gets valued, no matter who they are." Maria softened, hope flickering. The others eased up too, shoulders dropping, faces opening. "But hear this," Morgan added, firm. "I'm not here to punish unfairly. Growth's possible if you're in, if not, we part ways." He let that sink in, then softened. "This hotel can be more than a pit stop or a fancy conference spot. It can be a beacon. Real hospitality, with the right team, will make it happen." A faint smile tugged at his lips. "Wheels are already turning. New GM next week. Renovations ASAP. Fresh start, y'all. Let's make this something we're proud of." Whispers broke out. Cautious, excited. The foundation was set. Weeks later, the Imperial sunset was a whirlwind of change. Construction crews swarmed, ripping out dated decor. Think tacky gold trim and faded rugs, replacing it with warm wood tones and sleek lines. The lobby morphed into a welcoming hub, not some sterile showroom. Morgan was hands-on, no ivory tower boss. He'd chat up staff, greet guests, his calm energy lighting fires under everyone. Training was the real game changer. Experts ran workshops, diversity, equity, inclusion, not dry lectures but raw, real talks. Staff spilled their stories, faced their blind spots, learned to build something better. Maria shone bright, her empathy and hustle landing her assistant manager. "Never thought I'd get this shot," she told Morgan one day. "You earned it," he said, simple as that. Word spread fast. Old guests came back, curious. New ones rolled in, hooked by the buzz. Reviews exploded, raving about plush beds, sure, but really praising the vibe. Kindness, respect, warmth. The hotel's old rep, stuffy, exclusive, melted away. Morgan spotlighted his team's growth, proving change wasn't just talk. It was power. One crisp morning, Morgan stood in the revamped lobby, sipping coffee as sunlight streamed through giant windows. Fresh flowers popped against polished marble. Guests flowed in and out, staff greeting them like family. Maria approached, clipboard in hand. "Mr. Freeman, final guest surveys are in. Over 90% say hospitality is the best part." He grinned, setting his mug down. "That's the ticket, Maria. It's not just the building, it's the people." She nodded and hustled off. Morgan lingered, reflecting. This wasn't just a win, it was a lesson. That rainy night sparked a revolution, not just for the hotel, but for him too. Evan, he'd faded. Fired, humbled, slinging coffee somewhere small, finally facing his own mess. Back at the hotel, a family rolled in. 2 kids, parents trailing. The dad, a dead ringer for a younger Morgan, paused. "Read about what you did here," he said, shaking Morgan's hand. "Inspiring. Thanks. This place is for everyone now," Morgan replied, warm, always shouldered in. As they moved on, he turned to the bustling lobby, heart full. It built a lot, films, legacies, but this was personal. Every guest leaving with a smile, that was the vow he'd keep. The Imperial Sunset wasn't just a hotel anymore. It was proof. One stand, one voice could flip the script, for good.